Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in this video we are going to start off with a new topic, which is agriculture microbiology. So let's get started. So talking about the introduction of the subject, it's a vast subject and we'll be touching upon each of its complexities and all of the history and all of the types and explanation regarding this. So let's get to this. So the first person that comes into our mind when we study this subject is the father of soil microbiology, who was Sergei Vinogradsky. He lived for a term of about 1856 till 1953. So he was the father of soil microbiology. Another person that was very important in this development, the development of the subject, was Martinus Beijerinck. He was the person who isolated symbiotic and asymbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria, which we'll be studying in the coming videos. So these two play a very important role in the nitrogen fixing mechanism. Moving on with this, so we have the discovery of antibiotics. So some of them such as streptomycin, penicillin, and penicillin was from Penicillium cryosum. So there were lots of strains from where we get to know about penicillin, and it was discovered by Alexander Fleming in the year 1928. And also there was another antibiotic named as streptomycin, which was discovered by Selman Waxman. So streptomycin resembles somewhat like a filamentous fungi. So we'll be talking about in detail and more of its complexity. So this is a picture of soil microorganisms. So it contains a lot of things such as like the root hairs, all of the hyphae, the ciliated protists, the water lining, the nematodes, the bacteria, and all of the microzyme hyphae, and all of the stuff which we'll be studying in detail. So talking about the role of soil microorganisms and what it is all about. So it has a number of roles when we talk about agriculture microbiology. So some of the roles of soil bacteria, which are, it has an active role in nutrient cycling. So it has to follow a nutrient cycle so that everyone receives equal amount of nutrients, whether it be us, whether it be the plants, whether it be the animals. Also, second point which says that it has the decomposition of organic matter creates humus. So definitely all of the decomposed matter slowly gets degraded and decomposed by these bacteria and thus leads to formation of humus. Also, it improves soil fertility with the help of biofertilizers. Also, we'll study about mycorrhizal fungi. So we'll talk about the mycorrhizal fungi, which grows as filamentous mycelia and increases mineral bioavailability such as sodium, phosphorus, potassium to the plants. So it acts as a biofertilizer as well. Also, it produces vitamins and phytostimulators for the proliferation of plant root hair growth. And also it produces compounds that stimulate the natural defense mechanism of plant that improve its resistance to pathogen and pests. So also it acts as a defensive, also it acts for the defense of plants for improving their immunity and improving their resistance to all of the pathogens and pests surrounding them. On with this, so it also produces secondary metabolites, which are antimicrobial agents to antagonize plant pathogens from nutrients, which controls diseases. So we'll talk about secondary metabolites also in the coming videos. Also, it creates soil structure which has well aerated soil, and also some soil microbes are pathogenic to the plants and may cause considerable damage to the crops. So we'll talk about some of the exceptions over today. So talking about the first thing in the agriculture biotechnology subject or microbiology subject, so we'll talk about the 5 kingdom classification. So this 5 kingdom classification was proposed by R.H. Whittaker in 1969. So this kingdom were divided as Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. So I hope many of you already have known these things, all the kingdom classification and all of these 5 kingdoms. So we'll talk about all of them in detail, and we'll talk about how they are different from each other. Also, the main criteria for classification is used by him was of cell structure, thallus organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction, phylogenetic relationship, So also talking about them, so this is another chart that I have got for y'all, which is a bacteria, archaea and eukarya. So these bacteria, archaea and eukarya come under the kingdom known as Monera. Alright, so these all three come under the kingdom of Monera, and these all are prokaryotes, whereas eukarya is not prokaryotes, it is eukaryotic. And whereas bacteria and archaea are both of them are prokaryotes, and eukarya is eukaryotes. Yeah. So this is the common ancestor for all, and we'll be talking about the bacteria, archaea, and eukarya in detail. So talking about the features and all of the stuff. So features of some of the domains of lives are, some of them are amino acid that initiates protein synthesis, introns, membrane bounded organelles, membrane lipid structure, nuclear envelope, number of different RNA polymerases, peptidoglycan in cell wall, response to the antibiotics streptomycin and chloramphenicol. So talking about these three domains, firstly of the kingdom Monera. So this amino acids that initiates protein synthesis is different for different domains such as archaea, bacteria, eukarya. So you can just give it a read. This is a very simple chart. This is nothing to explain anything. You can just pause the video and just check out all of the details as per the feature. As you can see here, and all of the things are given corresponding to that. So more with this, so some of the characteristics of the entire five kingdom which was given by Whittaker. So some of them are, so let's just talk about the cell type, which is Monera is the only kingdom that is prokaryote and others are eukaryote. So Monera, leaving Monera, all of them are eukaryotes. Alright, and also in cell wall. So we're talking about the next character, which is cell wall. So in Monera there is no actual cell wall, so it is non-cellular. So as a point you can say it has no cell wall. Also others have cell wall, whereas Animalia do not have cell wall. So you can say Monera and Animalia are the two kingdoms which do not contain cell wall, and Protista, fungi and Plantae do contain cell wall. So next, coming to the next character, which is nuclear membrane. So leaving Monera, all other kingdoms have nuclear membrane surrounding the nucleus except Monera. So Monera does not have nuclear membrane, others do have. So talking about the next character, which is body organization. So in body organization, Monera and Protista are cellular in nature, whereas fungi, Plantae and Animalia are multicellular or tissue organ type. So which are more complex in nature, whereas Monera and Protista are pretty much simple in nature, which is of cellular type, whereas fungi, Plantae and Animalia are organ system level or tissue level different. And talk about the mode of nutrition. So mode of nutrition, Monera and Protista are mainly autotrophic. Along with that, Plantae is also autotrophic. As we know, plants has to be autotrophic so that we can survive. So Monera, Protista and Plantae are generally autotrophic, and Animalia is heterotrophic, also fungi is also heterotrophic. So Monera, Protista and Plantae are the ones which are autotrophic but can be heterotrophic as well, but fungi and Animalia are strictly heterotrophic. Alright, with that, so talking about the kingdom Monera, what it says. So some of the key features of kingdom Monera are, so bacteria are the sole members of the kingdom Monera, and they are prokaryotic and unicellular. They are the oldest and the most abundant microorganisms, and hundreds of bacteria are present in a handful of soil. Also, their mode of reproduction is asexual, which is mainly through binary fission, and which can be also sexual, which we know as transduction, transformation and conjugation. So this is the mode of reproduction that is very important, that may come in your exams as well. So the mode of reproduction can be asexual as well as sexual. So for asexual, it is generally it is binary fission, and for sexual it can be transduction, transformation and conjugation. Also, they can live in extreme habitats such as hot springs, deserts, snow and deep oceans, where few other life forms can survive. So there are different names of bacteria which can survive in these extreme habitats, which we want to study, or moving on with that. Also, many of them live in or on other organisms as parasites, so living in a host. So we'll be talking about some of the parasites as well. We'll talk about some of the bacterial stuff, which is the spherical cocker, the rod-shaped bacillus, the comma-shaped vibrium, the spiral spirillum. So these are four diagrams of the bacteria. On with this, so some of the other characteristics of bacteria are the bacterial structure is very simple, but they are very complex in behavior. They compared to other organisms, bacteria as a group show the most extensive metabolic diversity, and some of the bacteria are autotrophic in nature, and they can be chemosynthetic or heterotrophic in nature too. All right, so these are some of the simple and very basic information regarding bacteria. So, talking about as a whole, kingdom Monera is a unicellular primitive prokaryotic organisms. So it consists all of the members which are prokaryotic in nature, and these are abundant mostly microorganisms, and these exhibit most extensive metabolic diversity. Also, these lack membrane bound organelles such as nuclear membrane and mitochondria as well. So we have talked about some of the features of kingdom Monera as well. Also, these can survive in harsh and extreme climatic conditions such as hot springs, deserts, snow, and deep oceans, mainly which are bacterial type, which we'll be studying in the coming videos. Also, they may be beneficial as well as harmful, living as parasites. And the mode of reproduction is already discussed, which is asexual in the case of binary fish, and for sexual it is transduction, transformation, and conjugation. So let's just keep this video till here. I'll be back with another video very soon, so stay tuned, and thank you for watching this video.